Of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. Today's playbook, the Manic Monday with Kenny and Smith III, talking love, Hurts. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles soar over the Chiefs. Is Jalen Hurts an elite quarterback? Will we have 1 versus 2, but a surprise at 1? What will the changes and the identity will be with Grubb coming to town? Also look at Alabama's big win over Arkansas this weekend on the road, getting ready for the big showdown against Auburn this weekend. Will Alabama be able to not get caught in a trap game during the middle of this week? Also, some very interesting facts from the Super Bowl as a couple of former Alabama players just somehow find a way to win.
All right. Good morning. Welcome in. Glad to have you with us. It is a Manic Monday powered by Box Eye Care. Box Eye Care 205-342-0660. That's Box Eye Care. They make it possible for us to join you each and every day. And we appreciate you getting up and at them with us on this beautiful Monday morning. The Alabama Crimson Tide doing some things yesterday to make the Tide proud. It's funny. I did not realize Jalen Hurts had so many Alabama fans as I scroll back through the old messages and I can be messy, Xavier.
Oh, me too.
I can be messy. And last night I was. I didn't go out on social. I sent one guy directly. And I asked him the simple question that I'm going to ask the Alabama fans. I'm going to need you to know, have you officially recanted the following statement? Jalen Hurts will never play quarterback in the NFL. Now, I sent that message directly to one Drew DeArmond. And he sends back what he put on Twitter. He still can't say it, X. He said, Vic Fangio's defense was the MVP. Jalen Hurts now has 2 great Super Bowl performances. I told him, I said, with, the old side eye emoji, I said, that's not a recant. That's not a recant. And then he talked about he's had a great career at Philly. Well, it was a perfect situation. I said, that's still not a recant. I said, the guy's elite. And then he says, definitely knows how to play complementary football. I said, man, come on, man. This dude is elite quarterback, athlete, player, person, winner, whatever you want to call Jalen Hurts. That's what he is. And after he kept going, and I finally sent him X. I said,
what you saying?
The Jordan brand put a commercial out for haters just like you. Have you seen the commercial?
I did.
Oh, we're gonna play that, but we're gonna save that for when Kennington comes on. We're gonna play the Love Hurts commercial. Hopefully all of you have seen it, but it's worth that was the absolute best commercial ever. So we're gonna play that. As you said, upheaval. It's kind of interesting how the basketball gods shine on Alabama. If Alabama, well, either way, Alabama still, we will have a 1 versus 2 alone this week because the polls won't change. If it happens today, if the 1 versus 2, if they drop Auburn, drop Duke, raise Alabama, the question is, will they jump Florida? Where will they put Florida? And all of that because of the win. So we'll break all of that down, X. But remember that this is a day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take tonight to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Take it away, man.
Man, kick it off with Alabama basketball. Alabama basketball gets a huge win this weekend on the road at Arkansas. Now, it should have been a better performance than what it ended up being. Coach Cal and the Razorbacks made it a lot more competitive than what I thought it would have been at one point. Alabama had some turnover issues that kind of came back and bit them late in that game to make it closer. But overall, Alabama did get the win, 85-81. Youngblood and Nelson led the team with 15. Mo Diabate, 14 points on 7 of 9 shooting. He was really instrumental in this game. Then you also had Mark Sears in double digits with 11. I think it's official. LeBaron Fowler has hit the freshman wall. I don't think he scored more than 5 or 6 points in the last 2-3 weeks.
Is he hurt? Is he still injured and they just not telling us how bad? Because he doesn't.
Maybe.
I think there's some of that to it.
Maybe, but I mean, he's still playing almost 20 minutes a game. His shots just aren't falling.
But that's what I mean. But that could be due to injury. I don't know what his injury. I think it's a lower leg injury.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's not playing. I'm saying that I just wonder if the injury is maybe contributing to his ability to finish, be as aggressive, on his lift and on his takeoff and all of that. So that's the only reason I asked that. Go ahead.
No, I mean, it's a valid question. I don't know what exactly it is playing into. But, it was an overall good team effort. Like I said, could have been a blowout, but it got a little ugly. The turnovers, Bama cannot have the turnovers that they've had Saturday and the previous game if they want to win this week, though. So that's going to be a real big focus for this team. Hopefully Coach Oates gets it cleaned up with Texas. And then, of course, with Auburn coming into town on Saturday. What are your thoughts about Alabama's game Saturday?
I did not get to watch this game directly, so I had to go back and kind of check it out on replay and highlights. But once again, the team sometimes your talent can get you in trouble and make you lazy. And I think the team came out focused, but did not finish focused, if that makes sense. I think they got out to 18-point lead and allowed Arkansas to get back. But you have to give Arkansas credit. Arkansas is getting better. I still don't think Calipari's style and stuff is necessarily the best style for today's game. But you can see that his players are, in some ways, getting better at what they want to do. But I think it was more Alabama losing focus than Arkansas necessarily having a great game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Give it up to Diabate. I told you, man, this guy, he's the pulse, man. He's a pulse for this team. I didn't even check out what Grant did. What did Grant do? We were saying it was a time for him to have a 25 and 10, but did he show up?
He had 15.
Oh, that's better. We'll
he
take
had 15, but he's still not. He had 15 on 7 shots.
That's what I'm saying.
He did this, and he went 5 for 6 at the free throw line. So if you look at that, man, just keep going, keep pressing, keep pushing, and for some reason he just won. You talk 5 for 7, 71% from the field, 86% from the free throw line. Push, dig deeper, give it, make them. You were making them work. Keep making them work.
Yeah, and I think that's what we'll need. I know we're going to talk about Auburn a lot, but the reality of it is they better take care of business against Texas. How often do games like this end up anticipated games like this not being the hype around it? I haven't looked. Has ESPN said they were coming to Tuscaloosa?
I don't know. I haven't seen.
I think they're going to probably wait to see if it's 1 and 2, but.
Yeah. No, it's true. If it's 2, 3, 3, 4, that still deserves a trip to Tuscaloosa.
So, is this not crazy? If you look at the SEC right now, 4 of the top 5 teams, are SEC teams. I mean, and it's not just SEC teams. It's the state of Alabama, it's the state of Tennessee, state of Alabama, and Florida.
Florida. Right.
The guy down at Florida is Pearl Light. So, he's a disciple of Pearl, and I think that's why Florida had so much success against them. Because they have the bodies and the size to match up with them. So interesting. Yeah. We're going to add Kennedy Smith III to the conversation, and we didn't want to have the Hurts conversation. We will ask him about basketball, but wanted to say that Hurts conversation to add Kennington to the conversation and add you to the conversation.
Game day is coming.
Huh? Do what?
C.J. Watson and Jed Cohen both said game day is coming.
Okay.
So it'll be fun on Saturday.
I had not heard, so that's good. That's good. I was like, you talking about missing a gold mine if they weren't coming.
Right.
So we'll talk more. We'll get some insight from Kennington on the basketball side of things, but we're definitely going to transition. I'm gonna give my boy Hurts all his due, all his roses. Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP, has outdueled Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league, 2 times. All right, we'll be back on the other side to keep it rolling. You're listening to the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, a happy Monday to you. Already Monday again, y'all. And traveling in the Tuscaloosa area and side streets, we're not doing too bad. Skyland Boulevard, that's a little on the busier side as you merge onto 2059. Otherwise, construction zones, not bad at all. We're looking good on 2059 for the time being between 359 and Joe Malisham. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The slow roasted cantina chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. Try it today at participating U.S. Taco Bell locations while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
Under the biggest cactus in town, Taco Casa. Quality is number one. You got to start with a good quality product, but it's got to be at a good value to the customers.
Everything is about quality.
You just can't beat the quality, taste, and value.
And it's because we take pride in providing you with the best.
Good customer service and good food, good quality.
We want to make sure that we give that to them each and every time they come and visit us.
The sense of pride that we have in the quality, the consistency of our food carries over to everything we do in the stores. That's Taco Casa.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay, things people love.
Got timberland in West Alabama or East Mississippi? North River Timber Company has you covered. Since 2011, Courtney White, a registered forester, along with his expert team, have been managing timberland and harvesting timber across 4 West Alabama counties. They offer comprehensive timber management plans, reforestation services, and appraisals. Courtney White says timber is like money in the bank. Don't let your investment go unrealized. Call North River Timber Company today. Email them at northrivertimberco@gmail.com or call 205-242-5127.
You turned your dating app for pets into a business, which just turned over its first billion. You turned around the fortunes of a failing football club, politely turned down a Nobel Peace Prize, and turned up on Mars in your own reusable rocket. All while struggling to turn on the dishwasher. There's more to imagine when you listen. Discover business development titles on Audible.
Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They've moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The sky mostly cloudy today and tonight. The chance of scattered showers. The high today 59, the low tonight 44. Tomorrow and Wednesday, occasional rain both days, maybe a thunderstorm, the rain heavy at times, highs between 65 and 68. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 46 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier as we get ready to kick off the second quarter. We got Kennington Smith III joining us. We're going to talk Love Hurts. The Philadelphia Eagles dominate the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22 last night. Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts had a day. How you doing this morning, Kansas?
Good, how are y'all?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Hey, we need a little more energy, man. The guy who would never play quarterback in the NFL is now a two-time Super Bowl quarterback and an MVP and outplayed the best quarterback in the league twice, 1-1 versus him head-to-head, man. A lot of Georgia dudes, a lot of Alabama dudes getting it right. The general manager at the Eagles, they asked him why he drafted a few years ago. They asked him why he drafted so many Alabama and Georgia guys, and he said they know how to win. So, hey, listen, have you seen the Jalen Hurts commercial? Love Hurts.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I play that for all the haters before we get into the conversation?
Yeah.
Listen.
Go ahead.
I called out one of my buddies already head to head. Now I'm calling out all Alabama fans that's all of a sudden jumping on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon, claiming Jalen Hurts and all of this stuff. I need y'all, before y'all jump on the bandwagon, I'm okay with you jumping on the bandwagon. I've been wrong about players before. I've been wrong about players being really good. I've been wrong about players being really bad. Like, I'm having to adjust how I talk about Jalen Milroe until he does something different. Because from the start of the season to the end of the season, Jalen Milroe was not a great quarterback. Okay? He didn't show what I thought he could show, what he could do. So I have to change how I talk about him. So I need all y'all Alabama fans, before y'all jump on the bandwagon, to go ahead and look at this Jordan Brand commercial here and officially recant before you start applauding and claiming listen to this. Listen to these words. Words that some of you said would never be possible. MVP, Super Bowl winning Jalen Hurts.
Hate that you said he wasn't a top 10 quarterback? Hate that you said he couldn't throw the ball? Hate that he got over when push came to shove? Hate that he always say the right thing?
Money is nice, championships are better.
Hate that in your all-knowing, armchair wisdom, you were sure he'd come up short. Hate that you got it wrong?
Woo! Oh, give me your reaction, Kennington.
Yeah, I mean, just crazy. And it was, speaking of Jalen Hurts and, just like his entire journey, the first thing I saw on Twitter this morning was a tweet from the late Cecil Hurt, who said, by the time Tua and Jalen's book is written, I'll be too old to write books, but it'll be a damn good book. Enough said.
Enough said. I mean, I have to give it to the Jordan Brand. What a commercial! I mean, dog. That I was like, now that's one of the best commercials I've ever seen. I mean, just everything about it. Loved it. I sent a buddy of mine, Ron Fowler, on here. I said, from now on, this was before the game was over. At halftime, I said, I think I'm gonna be able to take all your Jalen Hurts jokes without even having to say anything anymore.
Nah. Just to do some crazy numbers, right? When we're talking about Jalen Hurts, and I got a couple for Devontae Smith. I want to get to Jalen Hurts first. In 2 Super Bowls against the best quarterback in the NFL, he has 671 total yards, 7 touchdowns, and a 74% completion percentage. Absolutely dominating both games, even though he came up short in the first one. And that actually plays into the second stat. As a freshman, he lost to Clemson in the national championship game. The next year, he beats Clemson in the playoffs. He gets benched against Georgia in the national championship game as a sophomore. As a junior, he turns around, comes off the bench to beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. And then, of course, 2 years ago, after a phenomenal performance, he ends up losing in the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs to turn around and stop them from making history and beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl and winning Super Bowl MVP. If there's one thing Jalen Hurts has done, is bounce back. It's one of the best stories. I've been a ride or die for Jalen since 2016. I got so much hate. Oh, he'll never do this. He's terrible, this and that. Your thoughts on his performance last night and getting over the hump for a championship that is truly his own?
Yeah, I think the sweetest part about this for Jalen Hurts and for Jalen Hurts supporters is that was the exact game that the Chiefs wanted to play. If you would have told a Chiefs fan before the game or anyone associated with the Chiefs that Saquon Barkley would have had 57 rushing yards, they thought they would have won 40-22. They wanted to sell out on top of Saquon Barkley and make Jalen Hurts beat them from the pocket, and that's exactly what he did. He was diamond. He was throwing down the field. He was decisive. He was confident. That was the game that the Chiefs wanted to play, and he exceeded all expectations as far as winning the game with his arm. Because if you've been following national media and the conversations around this game, it was, do the Eagles have a quarterback that can go win the game? It's not enough to just rely on Saquon Barkley and manage the game. He's going to have to go and make plays to win the game, and he did exactly that. So for him to not only win the Super Bowl, but be the definitive factor in winning. No one can say, oh, Saquon carried him in the Super Bowl. He only had 100 passing yards. Like people have been saying all playoffs. Like, oh, he's only throwing for 150. He's not doing a lot. He went out there and won the game. So I think that's probably the sweetest part about it. And just his story is just, obviously Jalen Milroe is a man of Omega Psi Phi, as am I. One of our cardinal principles is perseverance. And that's the perfect word, I think, to describe him and his entire journey, is just perseverance and continuing to just work no matter the circumstances and continue to bounce back, like you said. So something that he exemplifies a lot of qualities that make you successful in life. And I'm sure one day there's going to be some type of documentary or movie or something to kind of commemorate his journey. And that's going to be pretty special when that does happen.
Listen, everybody talks about, everybody forget in the first game, he was 27 for 38, 304 passing yards, 71.1%, one touchdown, 0 interceptions, and had 15 carries for 30 yards and 3 touchdowns. 15 for 70 and 3 touchdowns. Everybody forget he outplayed him twice. They just couldn't stop him on that drive. They came out in the second half. Everybody forget the Eagles dominated. If you take the first half of the 2 Super Bowls, they absolutely crushed the Chiefs. This time they didn't take their foot off the gas offensively. And here's the thing. Everybody acts like Jalen, the only reason Jalen doesn't have 400 yards is because the defense kept giving them short fields and a touchdown on defense. So they still haven't stopped Jalen in this offense. When they wanted to go deep, they went deep. When they blitzed Jalen, he made them pay. After that first sack, they ended up getting taken away from him. Penalty. I think they got to him one time. The rest of the time, he's like, okay, I'm taking off. I'm gonna hurt him with my leg. But here's I had to pull this up, Kennington. September 2018. I know at least somewhere around that time. When I did my research, it said it was on the 28th. I couldn't find it officially, but somewhere around it says Jalen Hurts shared a tweet quoting, and he, I don't know when exactly he did it, but listen to this tweet. John 13:7 says, Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Jalen's reply, "Just let God work his magic." I mean, let that sink in. At that point, Jalen Hurts had been benched and beat out and was not the starting quarterback. Let that sink in, people. Now, everybody say, well, I can't tell you that you're going to get the comeback against Georgia to redeem a bad moment. But what I can tell you is, to your point about you and your fraternity brothers and your work, perseverance, this kid never quit working. Every challenge, he responded to with perseverance, Kennington. He didn't quit. He said it last night. He said, I learned from everything, the good and the bad. And he let the bad and the loss drive him. The first quarterback in Eagles history to make it to 2 Super Bowls. Right? I mean, when was the last time an Alabama quarterback won a Super Bowl where they were the guy?
Ken Stabler.
Ken Stabler, yeah, I was going to say Ken Stabler.
So he has 2. The guy who would never play, I can't get over it, man. I'm telling you, and it's not like Drew D. Armour talking about he can play complimentary football. Yeah, he can. And he can be the dog, too. Jalen Hurts has Xavier, you forgot to mention he broke his own QB rushing record while also passing for 74%. So anyway, Kenny, any closing thoughts on that before? Because we probably need to look at the game. Because as much as I'm like man crushing on Jalen Hurts right now, all Alabama guys that was in there did well. I mean, it was fun to watch as an Alabama fan. Maybe the Chiefs need to go out and get them some Alabama dudes. I don't know who's it say.
Yeah, I mean, it was like that's what the funny part about the Chiefs and everything. Because like my mom, watching the game with her, she was like, "Man, the Eagles just like outsmarted everybody in drafting their way to the Super Bowl." I was like, "Not really. Like all the other teams are really just really stupid. Like the Eagles didn't do anything but just take the obvious pick. It's like Jalen Carter falls all the way to 9. The Eagles are like, well, okay, I guess we'll take him. Cooper DeJean, who was awesome at Iowa, somehow falls to 40, and the Eagles are like, okay, I guess we'll take him. Giants don't want to pay Saquon Barkley. The Eagles are like, all right, if you say so, we'll pay him. It's like they're just doing all the obvious moves, like Alabama on offense, Georgia on defense. Sounds like a winning strategy to me, but other teams in the league are like, I think we'll pass on Devontae Smith. He won the Heisman Trophy. We'll let him fall to 13. Like, okay, like the Eagles are like, don't mind if we do, we'll take him. Like, it's just like it's crazy. Like Nolan Smith falls all the way to 32. The Eagles are like, all right, if y'all say so, we'll take him. It's just like kind of the obvious stuff. Like I guess they're outsmarting people by just doing like the simplest things in the room. But they got 7 players from Bama on off. They got 7 players from Bama, 6 from Georgia. That's making up I'm not great at math, but it makes up a large portion of their team. So maybe these other teams will smart up in the draft.
The craziest part of that, X, before you take us a break, is you hardly ever see a team rise to dominance when they're in the middle. And what I mean by that, Eagles have never they were never bad. Like it's sometimes hard to it's hard to get out of that middle of the pack. Kennington, sometimes because you don't get the best players and you don't get you're not already a good team.
You don't have a strong foundation.
So, to your point, they have just sat there kind of in the middle for a few years. But hey, listen, but they have.
Oh, and they got Landon Dickerson in the second round the year that they drafted Devontae.
And the crazy part, Kennington, is that think about some of the blowback they've got. When they drafted Jalen Hurts, here's what I thought was ironic. They show a picture of Wentz and Mahomes on the sideline as Jalen Hurts was dealing on the field. I was like, I wonder how many of those are Eagle fans, because the Eagle fans are the same way. There were the Eagle fans, 5 years ago. When they were going, man, we got a number 1 quarterback. Why are you drafting Jalen Hurts? Not asking that question now. The city of brotherly
Right.
love is loving on Jalen Hurts today, and so is the rest of America. I bet you think he'll be on Good Morning America this morning.
Yeah, probably. Probably. He's got the. I don't know if you've seen the movie Juice, with Tupac and Omar Epps, like the movie from the '90s. Like the last line in the movie was, "You got the juice now," and that's what hurt. Like he's got the juice now. He is about to go on a press run that is going to elevate him to being one of the most notable, recognized players in the NFL. Maybe he already was before, but like now he's really about to ascend to another level. Because I've never seen a Jalen Hurts commercial before last night. Maybe I've missed it.
He actually, I saw one. He's had some local ones and stuff, but he did one for the NFL. The NFL jumped on the bandwagon, Kennington, before the Super Bowl. They put out an Olympic-based commercial tying in with flag football being in the Olympics. Jalen is the guy who shoots the arrow to light the torch. So I said, look at him getting ahead of the game. If Jalen Hurts wins this thing, they're going to look like they were all in on him. So,
right. There's some foreshadowing there, because who's to say Jalen Hurts isn't winning another Super Bowl before 2028?
Hey, listen.
If not more than one.
Eagles
the way the
team.
Eagles are set
Look
up.
at that Eagles
Yeah.
team. What?
They're all young. Young team. Like, they're all young.
Yes. Hey, listen, what's the crazy part is now you have to be able to do it, but Mahomes has lost 2 Super Bowls, and he lost them the exact same way. Front 4 pressure with no blitzing. You know, they did not let this sink in. I know unless they did it really late in the game, they did not blitz Mahomes at all last night.
Yeah. I'm looking at this stat from this is from Next Gen Stats. It's like the official NFL stat account of the NFL. The Eagles did not blitz once across 42 dropbacks, 16 pressures, and 6 sacks, which is the most of Mahomes' career.
Yeah. So let that sink in. You said X. You read the stat line and you don't know the score. You think Mahomes three-peated. Barkley less than 60 yards rushing. Jalen less than 300 yards passing. Only 200 and something yards passing. No blitzes by the Eagles, and you think, oh, they are dominating. Do you understand at halftime, the Eagles had 24 points, the Chiefs had 23 yards?
Yeah,
that score in no way reflects how bad they got dominated.
Yeah, it was crazy. And it's like, and the funniest part about it, like being from Atlanta, is like the only reason why people thought that the Chiefs had a chance to come back was because of the Falcons blowing the lead against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Like, Eagles are up 34-6, 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. People are like, well, like, you just never know. The Chiefs could always score 4 touchdowns in 9 minutes because the Falcons blew that lead in the Super Bowl. So it's like always this going to be like a thing in history. So that's just like a sidebar to the Eagles' dominance. But I mean, just a complete wire-to-wire win, and like we just mentioned with how young the Eagles team is, this could be a game that we look back on a couple years from now as the game that springboarded the Eagles into a potential dynasty if they can keep all these pieces together.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, X, let's send this out. This breakout just one more time. Of my man, Jalen Hurts. Can we do that? Are you okay if I do that?
I'm perfectly fine.
Those of you who may not have heard, may not have seen, I can't help it. I'm giddy this morning over Jalen Hurts and what he said in John 13:17. Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Jalen Hurts was a backup and on the bench at that point. and now he is the reigning Super Bowl champion. His words were, just let God do his magic.
Hate that you said he wasn't a top 10 quarterback? Hate that you said he couldn't throw the ball? Hate that he got over when push came to shove? Hate that he always say the right thing?
Money is nice, championships are better.
Hate that in your all-knowing, armchair wisdom, you were sure he'd come up short. Hate that you got it wrong?
We'll be back on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Pretty much a purpose-driven ride for your Tuscaloosa freeways and side streets. Only minimal delays in a couple of areas. First, traveling on Highway 11 in Cottondale. This is on the eastbound lanes at Grimes Crossing Road. Yeah, you got a bit of a thickness here in the area. And then we're also moving a little on the slower side. Well, it's just patchy, not real slow. But on Skyland Boulevard at 2059, you've also got some heavy brake lights there as well. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
I'm John Fail. 4 years ago, I promised to work hard for District 6 and Tuscaloosa. I've done that. I have been as accessible as anyone, answering your phone calls, going to homes when needed, and meeting with you on Saturday mornings. I have supported public safety, schools, parks, and seen new restaurants come to our district. I need your support March 4th to continue what we've started. I'm John Fail, and I approve this message.
Outlets sparking, lights are blowing. Don't do it yourself, or you'll be glowing. Call Taylor Electric. We do it all. Taylor Electric. Give the boss man a call.
Call or text 205-553-0958.
Fair pricing is what we do. Taylor Electric, we are here for you.
Dixie Battery Supply takes care of all of your battery needs. Find the commercial batteries you're after and never feel powerless again. Come check out our Northport and Tuscaloosa locations or call us at 205-758-9190. And once again, power up all your devices by using Dixie Battery Supply, DixieBatterySupply.com. They offer reconditioned batteries starting at $39.99, and you'll find all the batteries you need. And don't forget to ask us about our golf carts. That's DixieBatterySupply.com.
Join the Tide 100.9 men's basketball pregame show for every Alabama basketball home game. Live at Grandstand in Temerson Square downtown. Your hosts Wyatt Fulton and Hunter Johnson will break down the Bama men's basketball game and other big games from the SEC and around the country. Stop by, meet Wyatt and Hunter, and order something to eat from the kitchen and your favorite drink from the bar before the Bama game. They also have lots of TVs to watch the Bama game at Grandstand in Temerson Square downtown.
Visit the pharmacy at Midtown. That's the pharmacy at midtown.com. TJ and his team are looking for the opportunity to provide you with great services, including compounding, home delivery, and a whole lot more. You're looking for a great pharmacy that'll take care of all of your needs, including wellness classes, including health and more. That's the pharmacy at Midtown. Call them at 205-579-9933. You're looking for a great pharmacy. You need to try the pharmacy at Midtown. That's the pharmacy at Midtown, pharmacy at Midtown.com.
Hey, nice job, Pete. I like those clean lines. Fellas, do we have anyone that can get to Greenport today?
At Corey's Landscaping, the staffing plan is in the weeds.
Anthony, we need that leaf blower over here. 3 more new customer requests just came in. Who wants to work some overtime?
He needs to dig up quality landscapers and fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. It's a manic Monday. We have Kennington Smith III of the Athletic with us. Just to finish off the conversation about Alabama players' performance in the Super Bowl, Of course, two of the guys are offensive linemen, Landon Dickerson and Tyler Sheen, who both played really good games. But Devontae Smith joined an elite class last night. The Heisman, a Natty, and a Super Bowl. He joins the ranks of Reggie Bush, Tony Dorsett, Marcus Allen, and Charles Woodson as the only players in history to win all three.
Yeah, special kid. And that was a nice catch. That was a beautiful pass. But if you go back and watch that thing up close, Kennington, that kid had his arm inside of Devontae's arm, and he still caught that ball. I mean, that was a beautiful. Everything about that play, even on the defensive side, was perfect. It's just the Eagles were hot.
Right. You want to talk about a lifestyle performance from Devontae Smith the entire playoffs?
Yes.
He was targeted 17 times in the playoffs, 16 catches.
Yes.
That's
hey, listen. We'll start this conversation with you, and we'll pick it up tomorrow. I'm sure we won't dig deep enough right now because we want to get your thoughts on Bama hoops. But will those kind of rapid fire, Kennington? Will those who have been reluctant to call Jalen Hurts elite do so now?
I don't think so.
Right.
But they should.
Now watch this. Now, and I agree with you because I tested that last night on a former Bama hater of Jalen. But here's a question, and I'll ask some other questions. Is he actually, though, the avatar for dual threat quarterbacks? While everybody else applauds Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, all of these guys, because they have better, prettier stats. Is he the avatar because he can do both of them extremely well, and his coach knows how to use them, and his leadership takes him over the top?
Yeah, I think so. And it was like crazy because in the second half, that's when you really started to see him use his legs. It was like he had been killing them with his arm, and then they just started dropping back to prevent any more deep shots, and then he just started running it and taking off. So maybe it's not the most aesthetically pleasing game like, Lamar Jackson or somebody else, but it's winning football. And at the end of the day, that's what you do, right? You play to win the game, and there's no denying that Hurts and how he plays and his style of play is extremely effective. So hopefully he can enter into those conversations, but I'm sure that the haters and people who don't want to give him credit are just going to give all the credit to the defense, which is fine because the defense played great. But Jalen Hurts, I think, has stamped himself as a
Let me ask you this. Go ahead.
When you look at it, when you're talking about the avatar, the reason why people don't look at Jalen Hurts as the avatar is he's not as fast as guys like Lamar or Jaden. He doesn't have the cannon of an arm like a Josh Allen. But at the end of the day, he does it right in the moments that need to be done. Every time. Right? We talk about his biggest performances. They're the Super Bowl, the NFC Championship game. That's when he does it. But he's not going to blow by you the way Lamar and Jaden can, and he won't hit a 75-yard bomb the way Josh Allen can. But he wins, and no matter how you ask him to do it, he wins.
Let me ask you this.
Right.
Go ahead.
And and another thing about this elite conversation quarterback, when you're speaking on elite quarterbacks and who is and who isn't, don't lose sight of the fact of who has stared Mahomes in the face and outplayed him and beat him in the playoffs. While your other favorite quarterbacks are putting up all these favorite stats and all these flashy plays, who's looked Mahomes in the eye and not nutted up?
Burrow.
That would be Jalen Hurts. So no hate to Lamar Jackson. I love him and all these other dudes, but put some respect.
I thought you were talking about outside of Jalen. I was going to say the other guy is Joe Burrow.
Oh yeah, Joe Burrow.
Here's the question I have for you. Tell me, because everybody, the people who say he's not elite is just the people who are around him. Somebody needs to tell me, okay, I'm going to name some positions and tell me if Lamar Jackson hasn't had the same thing. Defense, support.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Offensive line. Bam.
Got it.
Field goal kicker.
Got it.
Coach that knows how to win.
Got it.
A great front office.
Yeah. Got it.
Big time running back.
Checkmate.
I mean, what does Jalen Hurts have that
they'll try to say wide receiver?
Yeah, let's say elite pass catchers would be the thing.
So,
but here's the kicker: Devontae Smith has only ever played with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, those are first-round guys.
They've drafted big-time guys. I'm just saying, I just hate that people try to find a way to nullify when a guy has done what he's done, and this is his, he was a winner in high school. He comes to the University of Alabama, and I saw where the guy at Alabama, the FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes guy, said he sat down with Jalen. Jalen said, I want to meet with you at 7:00. And he set his goals. And Jalen said, I'm going to be the first freshman to start. I'm going to start at quarterback. And the guy said, well, you need to make that more realistic because a freshman has never started at Alabama. But Jalen went on to start at Alabama. All he's done is win. You see what I'm saying? Like he won in high school. He won at Alabama. He won at Oklahoma. Now he's winning with the Eagles. What are you looking for if you don't think he's elite?
Right.
What criteria do you want? Do you want a guy that can just give you stats, or you want a guy that can win?
Right. No, I mean, winning is always the most important thing until it doesn't fit a particular narrative. And then it's like, he only won because he was at Alabama. He only won because the Eagles are so juiced up. Like, he only, et cetera, et cetera.
He's got more Super Bowls than Dan Marino now. He has just as many as the likes of Brett Favre, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. The list goes on. All these elite quarterbacks, he's either got more Super Bowl wins or just as many right now.
I mean,
right.
Hey, let's get your thoughts on basketball before we have to get out of here. Because Bama fan, we're gonna talk about Jalen Hurts all week. I'm gonna just let you. I'm gonna warn you. If you hate Jalen Hurts and all that, I mean, check out for a week.
Those people gonna spend this next week. If they didn't do it last night, they're gonna spend the early part of this week deleting their old tweets and old Facebook posts. They're about to they're scrubbing their account.
Oh man. It's so much. I'm so happy for the young man. And there's, to your point, I can't wait to see the final story because that dude's story is still being written, y'all. Don't underestimate. There will be kids who will play their game. Michael Vick changed football with the way he played. And I'm not about to say Jalen Hurts is going to change it to that level, but the balance in which he does dual threat seems to be the magic. I could be wrong. But for right now, he's the king of the league. It's the greatest league in all of sports, the most eyes, whatever. He's the MVP. And by the way, he did it in front of the president. First guy to ever do that. I'm sorry. I'm having too much fun, kids. Let's change it to basketball.
Thoughts on Bama's win this weekend over Arkansas?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what's become like a typical Bama win, like super long stretches of dominance, not quite the 40-minute game that Nate Oates is looking for. But this is, I mean, Alabama's rolling right now. They're, after the Ole Miss loss, they bounced back. They've continued to win. They've won in different ways. Once again, and I've said this before on the show, the layers of this Alabama team is really impressive, and they can win in different ways. Like, Alabama's not the live and die by the 3 team that they were last year. They're one of the best teams in the country at 2-point percentage. They can get to the rim. They can get to the free throw line. So I like where the team is at. Once again, a complete game, what everybody is looking for, but it's hard to poke holes in a team that's 20-3 and probably going to be number 1 later on today.
You think Alabama is going to be the number 1 team?
I think that I think they should be. They have a strong case. They've played a harder schedule than anybody. They're 20-3. They're on this long win streak. I think they deserve to be number 1. Maybe they'll end up being number 2, but it's hard to make a case against them right now.
Who would you put at number 1 then? Florida?
I'm putting them at 1, but I could see a case
Alabama's
for
not there.
Yeah. Oh, Duke.
Even after they lost?
Oh yeah, Duke
That's
lost.
right.
Oh, so
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Both of them ended up losing. That's right. That's kind of I think it's going to be 1 versus 2. I think the top 2 teams will slide down, but they may put Florida in. I don't know. They may bump Florida, but I doubt it. Auburn's been too good to fall much.
Yeah. Well, Kenny, what's Alabama got to do to avoid the trap of this Texas game?
Yeah, I mean, they just have to continue to, just try to play clean basketball. And they can't look ahead to Auburn on Saturday. I know it's going to be a really, they kind of all are. I was about to say it's going to be a really toxic Iron Bowl week. They all are, but it's going to be a lot of distraction, a lot of conversations about Aiden Holloway, and a lot of conversations about 1 versus 2 and Bruce Power versus Nate Oates, and who's the true number 1 and all these things. They just have to continue to stay focused, and they cannot allow themselves to go on the road and play a lackadaisical game. They can't turn the ball over. They can't play sloppily. Just go take care of business. It's hard to win on the road. So just go get a dub in Austin, get out of there by any means necessary, and then it's full speed ahead to Auburn. So mental focus is what I'm looking for this Alabama team. Like, number 1 rankings doesn't matter. The Iron Bowl on Saturday doesn't matter. Just continue to lock in, get this win against Texas, and then it's full speed ahead to the biggest game of the year.
Nobody wants it, Kennington, but Ole Miss lost adversity. Mark Sears benching adversity. That's why this Bama team is as good as they are. Auburn had not had any really adversity with only a loss to Duke. It'll be interesting how they respond as well, and we'll talk more about that. Tell them where they can find you, Kennington.
Yeah, on Twitter /X at skinnykenny_theathletic.com or The Athletic, however you get your mobile app, searching my name, Kennington Smith, or anything related to Alabama.
All right. Hey, listen. That's Kennington Smith III. That's Xavier Houston. I'm Martin Houston. And in honor of the Super Bowl winning MVP that's heading to Disney World, he shared this tweet many moons ago. You do not know what I am doing, but later you will understand. Jesus said that, and Jalen Hurts' response to that, while he was not the starter, let God work his magic. Well, his magic was on full display last night. Congratulations to Jalen Hurts and all of the Alabama football players and the Philadelphia Eagles on winning the Super Bowl. We'll talk more about it on tomorrow. We'll invite you to get in on the conversation. No DC, so plenty of room and space for you to get in on the conversation. Roll Tide, everybody. Bless you, Lord, always. May not want to understand all your ways.
It's a celebration.